Hi guys, and today we're going to talk about how we can show our process in our app. Okay, so in OutSystems we have components in the Forge that we can grab and use in our application in order to show exactly our process that we are working at the moment and exactly where it is. So if it is in the set name, if it is on the wait, if it is ended, we can see this in the application. So as you might know, we have our Forge as we can install components from here. It's like a library. So let's open this and we can search for BPT and we can see we have several applications that we can use regarding BPT. So if you are new to this, so please look into this and see, explore, and maybe you can use this for further developments. And you have here the BAM reports for reactive. This was created by Enrique Batista, and here we can see the actual flow that we have in our application. Okay, so we can see where it is and where it already went. So imagine here we have weights, we have matic activity, we have a decision, and um, and all the activities that we have already covered and on the process. Okay, as you might see, we have this process as horizontal and not vertical like we have in our process. Okay, let me go back there. So this is why sorry, maybe the OutSystems has this like this. I don't know why. He should update this, but let's go back here to the BAM reports. So in business we usually work as a horizontal design and not a vertical. So that's why we display and we create our process like this. Okay, and also for these components makes sense to create as an horizontal alignment and not vertical. Okay, so everything that you need to do regarding here is to open the component and install. Okay, so after you install, we can go back here in your module and check for the dependencies. We can search for BAM and we can see everything that we have in this module, in this component. When we are starting to get familiar with the component, I like to get everything, and after that I can remove unused dependencies, and he can remove everything that I'm not using it. Okay, in order to not um, put more weight in the modules. Okay, so after that you can apply. Okay, and we can go here and create a block. So let's call it BAM process, BAM process overview, and let's grab that. So let's get the BAM reactive, which is the component that we are using. And as we can see, we have the common here, and we have the activity details and process instance. Right now, what we need is the process instance. So we want to display the process. Okay, so when we drag and drop this inside the block, he asks us to the process ID. So what is the process identifier that you need or do you want to show in the design. Okay, so in this case, and we are using a block, we need to create an input parameter, and let's call it process identifier. Okay, and in here we just need to use the process ID that we created. But in our screen, so I'm using the launch employee process screen. If you didn't watch the previous videos, please do if you are new here. Okay, and everything that we need to do is just drag and drop this block, and of course he's going to ask us again about the process identifier. The process identifier will be this one. Okay, so let's grab. Okay, so in here, as we are using a local variable and we are not using the any database, because this is just for demo purposes, I don't want to work with database right now. It's not the purpose of this sequence of PPTs. So what I'm going to do here in order to display the design after we move on the activities inside the process, I'm going to add an input here, and I need to use the process identifier. But as you can see, we cannot use it. This is a different subject. Inputs doesn't like data types as identifiers. Okay, so what we can do here is to change this for long integer, and of course he's gonna ask us. So the process identifier, I want an identifier, and I do not want a long integer. So what we can do is just convert this to. So we can convert this from long integer. That's what the process identifier local variable is, to identifier, which is the identifier that he wants us to give to him. So it is okay now. It is okay here, and so now we have the inputs, and here we can preview, or it's not a preview, it's it's the real-time process activity that we are on that process. Okay, so in here I think we have everything, and we also have the buttons in order to walk through to the process. So let's publish. Okay, so let's open. Okay, so far we are just rendering the page, and as we can see, we have a default message, which is if the process identifier doesn't exist, it says that the process flow is not available or does not exist. So you might asking, so why I'm seeing this? So where is this in the code? This is inside the BAM reports. It is inside here. Also, when you when you import or use a component from the forge, you can open that component, and you can change it. So if it is blocks or screens, so if it is front end, you can change the logic that we have there. We can open this and change whatever we want. Okay, but this case, I'm not gonna change anything. I'm just gonna use like it is. Okay, so after I launch the process, we're going to have um, our process started, and this will refresh. So let's see. So as you can see, we have our process employee or student, the name that we have here in the database. It doesn't matter. It's just showing you how this works. And as you can see, we have the process that's we have the also when it was closed, this activity. It was closed 21:55, and also we are starting the set name activity, and it is ready since the same date because this was very fast. And right now I can close this activity, okay, and let's see what happens. So if I hit the button, I have the message, but nothing is happening here because in the block, I think the component is not prepared to refresh every single time that the activity, some activity ends and some activity opens and starts. It isn't prepared. In this case, it was just prepared for the process identifier because probably it is built that way. Okay, but again, you can go to the component and change that. Okay, so in order to just continue and show you that we actually close this activity, so I'm copying the process ID and now I'm refreshing it. So let's refresh and let's paste the value. And as you can see, we closed the set name. We closed the set name, and we have also closed the student active automatic activity. It went from good to go to here, and it is now waiting here. As you can see, waiting sys 2156. Okay, so you might asking, so this is not a good so everything is overlapped and so on. So that's why I'm saying that for this case we shouldn't use as a vertical alignment, we should use like an horizontal. Okay, so if you go here and change this like here, like this, so here like this, it will show as exactly like this. Okay, so in the labels and the close on and everything, it will be much pretty to see. So in order to also to check this in our service center and to see if that if this matches, so we can go here in our service center, and we know that we are working with the process ID 990, and as we can see we are waiting here. Okay, so let me just end the process. So let me go back here to the student, and in order to close this I need to change these two values to true, and let's apply. Done. And let me close the wait student. It should be okay now. So it is closed. Let me copy again this. Let me refresh. And let's paste. And that's it. So we have our process ended, and we have the end when it was closed as well. And also imagine that we can add more information here in the component. We just need to update it. Okay, and just to make sure, let's refresh also in the service center, and as you can see we have the end activity also closed and the process is ended. Okay, hope this was helpful for you and your project and you learned something new here. Please subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next video.